Hi, I'm Lesley and I'm just going to share some thoughts with you about caring for people who are bereaved. I'm not an expert, but I've just tried to pull a few thoughts together. So in Romans 12 verse 15, Paul is talking about how to genuinely love others, and he says, rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn. Now, sometimes we can feel really overwhelmed by the strength or intensity of someone's grief. We could feel uncomfortable with the emotions. Sometimes we don't know what to say, or we're worried we will do or say something wrong. But don't let that stop you from caring for someone who's bereaved. The truth is, we might say or do something that's wrong or unhelpful. And if we do, we just ask Jesus to forgive us and ask the Holy Spirit to come and help us and guide us. Everybody grieves differently, and it depends on the circumstances, whether it's sudden, a long illness, the age or the relationship to the person who they've lost. And be aware that different cultures grieve in different ways as well. But many grieving people will feel things like anger, sadness, numbness, where they don't feel anything at all, wanting to bargain, or acceptance. And they may feel that in any order, and those things may return. They may feel anger at one point and feel acceptance at another, and anger may return. And again, there's no set way of helping someone who's bereaved, but don't let that put you off. Take the lead from the grieving person. It's quite helpful to follow what they want. They may want to talk, or they may not, and you can still support them either way. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you and to show you what would be helpful for that person. Don't assume everybody wants space and privacy, but equally don't assume that everybody wants you in their house 24/7. And remember that you're probably not a counsellor, but you can be a good listener. And don't underestimate the power and the comfort of just having someone with you. So just being with someone who's grieving is very powerful and very comforting. You don't have to say anything, so that fear of I don't know what to say, you don't have to say much apart from I'm sorry for your loss. That's very helpful and very comforting. You don't have to give a theological lecture at this point. And try to avoid things that are cliches, because they're actually untrue and sometimes they're quite unhelpful. So things like God takes the best people, or God needed another angel in heaven, can be hurtful and unhelpful. And resist the temptation to say things to try to make the person feel better. Be prepared to sit with them and sit with the uncomfortable emotions, both theirs and yours. And practical care will be really helpful for someone who's bereaved. So be specific and concrete with how you want to help, and take the initiative. So saying something like, let me know if you need anything, is quite a difficult thing for someone who's grieving to answer. It'd be hard for them to come and ask for help when they need something, or to respond to that. So, and also they may not know what they need, so they don't know what they need to ask for. Something concrete and specific like, I would like to bring you a meal, when shall I drop it off, is much more helpful. So things like meals, bags of shopping, household essentials like toothpaste and toilet roll that grieving people may forget to buy. Ready wrapped food that doesn't need to be cooked is also very helpful, because a bereaved person may not be taking care of themselves. The grief may be overwhelming at that point. Sometimes when you're grieving, it's hard to eat, exercise, or sleep. Remember, there's no time frame for grief, so don't expect someone to get over it. The grief journey changes over time, but it's very unhelpful to expect someone to have gotten over it in a specific time frame. And be aware that dates and milestones like birthdays, Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day might be difficult times for someone who's bereaved. Later on, a person who's grieving may want to see a counsellor for grief or bereavement counselling, or do a bereavement course, or they may want to receive prayer ministry. please do come and ask Croydon Vineyard, and we can signpost you to helpful and appropriate places where we can find these things. And we also have some bereavement packs that we can send to people who are bereaved. So with bereavement, and actually any other pastoral issue where you're supporting people, 2 things to remember. Be careful not to become codependent. Don't need to be needed, and caring for that person out of your own needs. Let the Lord meet your needs, and let the Lord meet their needs. Health is passing on what we have received from him. And the second thing is just be watchful for burnout. We need to care for others out of wholeness and health. So factor in time to receive from the Lord for yourself, and be continually filled with the Holy Spirit. So having a thriving relationship with Jesus will help you to be a good helper. It will also help you to genuinely love others by rejoicing with those who rejoice and mourning with those who mourn.